said to me, have a bath. I said, have a bath. It's quite a good way of relaxing. I thought, it's quite a good idea. Because I normally have showers. I think showers are more sort of time efficient. But I still buy all the things you're supposed to put in the bath. You know, the lotions and the potions and the bath bombs, all that sort of stuff. My bathroom looks like I've ram-raided Lush. The only time I ever have a bath is when I'm in a hotel, I'm on the road maybe, and I'm in a hotel room, I've got a bit of time to myself. But of course I don't take me lotions and me potions, because you don't, do you? Instead I'm stuck with time, but like an inch of shower gel / shampoo / fucking toothpaste. With which I'm expected to wash a 12-stone woman. I mean me. I don't provide a service. Come on in, Brenda, get on the scales. You're all right, go and get your clothes off. So my friend said have a bath, so I had a bath, and it was all right. It's all right. But I thought I better can make this better. So I had a cup of tea in the bath. There's something really satisfying about being the same temperature on the inside as the outside. I was in the bath the other day, I had a cup of tea on the go, had a bath bomb in. We all know what a bath bomb is, it just fizzes around and makes the water all smell nice and feel nice. And my boyfriend was walking past the bathroom door, and I shouted to him in, and he said, what's the matter? And I said, doesn't it smell nice? And he went, oh, it does smell nice. And I said, feel my arm, and I lifted it out of the water, and I went, feel that? And he went, ooh, slimy. So I relaxed for about another 20 minutes, and then it was time to get out of the bath. But I still had a little bit of tea left, and I thought, I'm not going anywhere till I finish my tea. So I just pulled the plug and let the water all drain out, and I ended up sitting in an empty bath. I felt a little bit beached. But it wasn't altogether a horrible experience. Nobody was like spraying us with water trying to keep us alive. So I finished my tea, and as I stood up to get out the bath, a tidal wave of water came from behind me. I was totally confused. I looked at the front and it was empty. I looked behind, still about that much. I'd formed a seal around the bath with me arse. That wasn't very relaxing. But we've lived in the house we live in now for about 9 years. Before that, we both rented flats separately. If you rent now, or you've ever rented in the past, you will know that if something breaks in your rented place, you tell the person responsible, who does nothing at all, and you learn to live without the thing. That's right, isn't it? When you own somewhere, though, you're responsible. My husband had this great idea when we first moved in together. I have like a rolling jobs list to document on his computer of all the things that needed doing to the house. Some of those things we could do ourselves. Some of those things he would need to ring a bigger boy who would come and do it for us. One day he shared the document with me. He said, just in case you want to add any jobs to the list. So I scrolled right to the bottom and I just wrote cunnilingus. And he spotted it. He said, yeah, as long as you don't mind a Polish handyman coming to do it. And I said, not at all. He said, to be fair, it's sort of already on the list. It's just under clearing the gutters. But I've been married a long time, different men. Let's move on. And thinking a bit about relationships, I've got a theory, see if you agree with this. My theory is that most relationships are made up of one person who does chores as they see them arise, and another person who needs to be asked to do chores. Would you agree with that? Yeah? So I'm the doer in our family. My husband will do anything I ask, but does often need to be asked. So I found a way around this. If this is helpful in your relationship, please use it. I do not mind. What I do is I make every chore a challenge. So I say to him, bet you can't bring in all the shopping from the car in one go. And he goes, of course I can. He does it, and I tick it off my list. Hooray! I say, I bet you can't empty the dishwasher in less than 2 minutes. And he goes, I bet I bloody can. I use a stopwatch to make it more fun for him, you know. It's basically like a really domestic version of the Crystal Maze, where I am Richard O'Brien, or Richard Ayoade if you're very young, and my husband is in a big glass sphere. Also in the sphere is a washing machine and a tumble dryer. Against the clock, to win another month of marriage, he has to take clothes out of the washing machine and deduce whether or not they can be tumble dried. And it's not as straightforward as looking at the label, because nobody knows what the fucking symbols mean. There's only one symbol we all know, and I think the reason it's universal is because it's so damn important, and that's the hand one. We all know the hand one, don't we? Because that means wave goodbye to your lovely top, because it's about to get fucking shrunk. What I wanted was somewhere that makes me feel the same way my parents' house makes me feel. They've lived in the same house since they got married 47 years ago. Exactly. and this is what I wanted. I wanted somewhere that I could build memory after memory after memory. Now, I was there sort of late summer last year with my sister, the four of us just sitting around with cups of tea around the kitchen table, putting the world to rights. It was lovely. And at the exact same moment, my sister and I both heard the ice cream man. And it was like no time had passed. No words were exchanged between my sister and I. She shot me a look that said, "Do you want one?" And I shot back a look that said, "Of course I fucking do." She picked up her purse and she ran out of the house. When she came back in, she told me there'd be no children anywhere near the ice cream man, just a 44-year-old woman running towards it. He'd started to pull away. She had to flag him down. And as she flagged him down, he shouted out of the window, "Come on, missus, you can do it." She came back in with 3 ice creams, one for me, one for her, and one for me dad, because my mum doesn't really like sweet things. And she said, "Where's Dad gone?" Because my dad was no longer in the room. I said, "He's gone to the toilet." Now, I don't know what your dads are like, but my dad can lose a good 20 minutes, half an hour in there. So she started to sort of lick her ice cream and kind of tidy his, do you know what I mean? Licking hers normally, but then spinning this one round. She was like a fucking machine, licking and tidying, licking and tidying, licking and tidying. This one started to get quite small, and I said, "Oh, that's not fair on Dad." And she said, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" I said, "I think you should take it to him while he's on the toilet." And she said, "Well, if I'm going, you're coming with us." So we go upstairs together. Mum and Dad's toilet is separate from their bathroom. And I said to my sister, "Before you go any further, you must promise me one thing." She said, "What's that?" I said, "You must promise me that when you open that door, you keep your eyes tight shut, because you will never be able to unsee what you are about to say." She promised. She knocked on the door. My dad said, "Come in," like it was an office. And with her eyes tight shut, she opened the door and handed in an ice cream. And my dad said, "I cannot take that." And we thought, quite rightly, because eating ice cream while you're doing this shit is disgusting, isn't it? But my dad said, "I'm reading the paper, my hands are full." But I decided probably about 6 months ago now to try to sort of better myself. And I'm not really bothered about losing weight, but I quite like the idea of getting fit. So I thought I'd get myself an exercise DVD. Now, you know when your partner goes shopping and they say, "Do you want anything?" And they want you to say no, but instead you give them a list. I love doing that. Sometimes I just make shit up I don't even need, just to see the look on his face. He looks at the list and he goes, "What's the difference between a tangerine and a satsuma?" It's a test. So I said, "Could you get us an exercise DVD, please? Just a basic one, like a bog standard, like a beginner's guide." And he said, "No problem." And he came home with Davina's Buff Your Abs. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to lose 3 stone before I can find me fucking abs. So I took her back to the shop and I swapped it for the one that I wanted, which was, you know, just Fat Lass Has a Go. For the sequel, Fat Lass Tries Again. And I watched the first few minutes, and you know how it's always a celebrity and a trainer, isn't it? Because the celebrity's the one that sells the DVDs and the trainer's the one that knows what they're doing. I watched the first few minutes. They were both laughing at nothing. It was very unnerving. And the trainer said to the celebrity, "Why don't you tell the viewers at home what weight you were when you started this regime?" And the celebrity went, "When I started this regime, I was 10 stone. I realised then that I'm aiming for her start weight. But you know, when you first get together, especially if you have an inkling it might be a long-term thing, and those first 6 months together are just glorious, aren't they? And you just think each other are perfect, and after 6 months you think, well, perfect's pushing it a bit. There's a couple of things I could do with changing. Then you've got a project. Isn't it lovely having a project? I love a project. There's only one thing I'd like to change about my fella. I need to tell you this first. I love waving. I don't know why. I've always loved waving. I love waving. I love it when people wave back to me. I'm going to wave to you now and see how many people wave back. Quite a few of you are upstairs as well. Thank you very much. It makes me really happy, and it's one of the main reasons I learned to drive. My fella doesn't wave, doesn't occur to him in the slightest. When we first got together, one of the times he dropped me off at the train station, I got out the car and I said, I'll see you on Tuesday. He said, yeah, but I'll give you a ring when I get in tonight. I said, smashing. And then I checked just to make sure I was at the right door for my particular platform at this train station. And I turned to give him a little wave goodbye, and the car was already in the distance. A few years later, I was going to Australia for the first time. I was travelling alone. I was going to be away for 6 weeks. I was very nervous. He dropped me off at the airport. He helped me out of the boot with my case. With my case, no. He's not that much of a psychopath. I'm allowed to sit in the car at the moment. But I had this huge case, so he helped me get the case out. And I said, oh, God, I'm going to miss you. And he said, I'm going to miss you too. But he said, you know what, we can Skype whenever you like. He said, you know, you're going to have an amazing time and I'll come and get you in 6 weeks' time. Bless. And then I did that thing, you know, you have to check you've got your passport and your ticket and your keys and your wallet. I checked all the things I needed in my bag. And then I checked I was at the right terminal and I turned to give him a little wave goodbye. 6 weeks we were going to be apart. We'd never been apart that length of time before. I turned to give him a little wave goodbye and I could not see the car. He was already on the fucking motorway. So I said to him recently, I said, you know, the waving thing. He said, did I forget to do it again? I said, no, it's fine, don't worry. I said, I know you don't do, but I said, you know how much I love it? He said, yes, I know how much you love to wave. I said, I was just wondering if there was a bargaining thing we could do. He said, I don't know what you mean. I said, well, for example, is there anything I don't do that you'd like me to start doing? Turns out I'm not as bothered about waving as I thought. But when I lived alone, I really liked it. I really liked living alone. But one of the things I love about living with somebody else again is I like the unpredictability of it. I like that every now and again a sentence will come out that I would never have said. The most recent one, out of nowhere, he just went, your shed's no good to have a wank in. And I said, that's because it's a greenhouse, love. But I've always been quite sort of cautious by nature, to the point of being risk-averse even. And I get this from my family. My mum, dad and sister are all exactly the same. Like when we were little, we'd go to the fairground, we'd go on the dodgems, and my dad would always insist on driving because he was the only one with a licence. He would weave expertly in and out of the other cars, and then we'd go home. It was properly shit. I'm not good at a theme park. I had quite a bad experience at a theme park when I was a teenager. I went to Lightwater Valley. Give us a cheer if you've been to Lightwater Valley. If you haven't, but you've been to Alton Towers, just picture that, but a bit shitter. I was about 16 or 17. I went with a friend of mine. We were standing in the queue for the Rat, which is an indoor roller coaster. And we're standing in the queue, and I was reading the rules, because I'm all about fun. And it had the usual restrictions. It had the height restriction, it had the pregnant restriction, but then it also said if you'd ever had heart problems, you shouldn't go on the ride. And I knew for a fact that the friend that I was with had had heart problems in the past. And I said, Joanne, we kind of go on. Look at that rule, eh? We kind of go on. And she went, fuck it, let's do it anyway. And I realised that noise that she made, she didn't need to say anything after that, because that's the noise equivalent of fuck it, isn't it? You know, if you go out on a night out and you drink more than you were expecting to, you get up the next day, you feel terrible. You're bringing up bile, but you're pretty sure this bacon sandwich is going to put a stop to it. And somebody rings you and says, do you fancy going to the pub? You always go, So we go on the ride. I'm not happy about it, but she wants to go on, so we go on the ride. And it's so dark on there that you can't say your hand in front of your face. And I'm screaming all the way around like a normal person. She was completely silent. My first thought was, she's dead. My second thought was, our photo is going to be shit. So I think we can all be divided up into people like my friend and people like me. People like my friend, I call them the bumper cars. They're quite exciting to be around. They don't worry about what might happen. They live very much in the moment. So what if I get a couple of bruises? At least I will have had a brilliant time. Gives a cheer all the bumper cars in the room. Quite a few of you. And then there's people like me. I call us the dodgems. We check doors multiple times. It's not even our house. Gives a cheer if you're a dodgem. Well, nice lady there who's clapping. You're a dodgem, are you, Flower? Do you check doors? Do you unplug things? See, would you unplug everything or just certain things? Mainly hair straighteners. Oh, good plan. I always unplug my toaster just in case while I'm out it accidentally toasts the air. I know a lot of you think I'm an idiot, but there's at least 2 people in this room tonight going, can that happen? Can that happen? Have I got time to go back now? And have we got anybody in who's done anything really risky? Anybody who's done a bungee jump? Yeah, fella there's done a hello flower. How many bungee jumps have you done? 1. What's the reason you've only done 1? You were drunk. You were drunk when you did a bungee jump. How was that even allowed? In Gran Canaria. Oh, you do that like, oh, it's Gran Canaria. Everybody's pissed there, man. There was a fella the other day who'd only done the 1, and I said, what's the reason you've only done 1? Thinking it might be because, it's expensive. Maybe that was it. And he went, no, it's because I shot myself. And then the next night I had a lady who'd only done 1, and I thought, I better know the answer to this question. She said, no, I didn't shit myself. She said, I did do a fanny fart all the way down. Have we got cat owners in tonight? Yeah. Quite a few of you. Now, I know that whatever they bring in, be it a mouse or a bird, if it's still alive, I'm to try and catch it and put it back in the garden. And if it's dead, I'm to put it in the outside bin. That's fine. But what I don't know is what I'm supposed to do if whatever they bring in is still a little bit twitchy. Has this happened to any of you? Yeah. Oh, nearly all of you. This is horrible. Let's get some suggestions what you think I should do. Let's start at the top. So anybody in the top section got a suggestion what I should do with a half-dead animal? Shout out.
Put a bucket over it.
Put a bucket over it. Have you done that, love?
Yes.
Yes. What animal was it?
A bird and a mouse and a rat.
A bird and a mouse and a rat at the same time? Like a tiny little rubbish zoo. So are these all separate occasions?
Separate.
Yes, and so you put the bucket over it until...
The husband came home.
Oh, until your husband came home. We've got a feminist in, girls. And then what did he do?
Luckily they'd all died.
Luckily they'd all died. That is the best sentence I've heard in ages. We should all start adding that on to the end of all of our stories. Luckily, they all died. Good answer, lady upstairs. Anybody in the next section down got a suggestion what I should do with a half-dead animal?
Hit it with a spade.
Hit it with a spade. He didn't even have to think of that, did he? Just hit it with a spade. Hit it with... have you done that, love?
Yes.
Yes? Was it definitely an animal? Got a couple of ex-wives in your garden or anything? Anybody else in that section? CPR. Oh, the rest of you feel like such shits now. CPR. Have you done that?
Yes.
Yes. What animal was it, love? It was a cat. Either option 1, she has not understood the question. Option 2, her cat brought in another cat. I'm going to go with option 2 because that feels awesome to me. Anybody in the next section down got a suggestion what I should do with a half-dead animal?
Give it back to it so we can finish it off.
Give it back to the cat, so we can finish it off. And when you say finish it off, all right, sorry, you mean eat it? Okay, sorry, I wasn't. One tiny final wank. A cat couldn't even do that because they don't have that kind of hands. It'd have to do it with its paws. Well, you've just made me mime a cat wanking off a mouse. You dirty bastards. So you mean give it back to the cat so the cat can eat it. I like that idea because that feels like good parenting, doesn't it? Because it's like, finish your tea or you're not playing out. I like it, it's good. Anybody else in that section?
Put it on YouTube.
Put it on YouTube? Oh, we've got a young one in. How old are you, Flower?
25.
25. Get out. Fuck off. Look around you, love. You don't belong. That was so much fun. Sorry. Being rude to young people, you should try it. It's awesome. Next level down. So are you the grand circle? Is that what you the grand circle? It's the lady there like, yes, we're grand. Okay. So the grand circle, anybody got a suggestion what to do with a half-dead animal? Bash it with a hammer. Fuck, where are you from? The felon? I love that there's a lady cheering that I've just implied that she's from the felon because you're clearly from the felon. Yeah! We bash things with hammers. Anybody else in that section?
Chuck it over next door.
Chuck it over next door. Anything that stops you having to talk to your neighbours. Good answer, thank you very much. Anybody in the boxes or downstairs got a suggestion?
Put a cage and keep it as a pet.
Hold on. We're coming back to you. Say that again, love.
Because you know it's still fresh.
Put it in a pie because you know it's still fresh. That's clearly all he's bothered about. Is it fresh? Yeah, well, I'll eat it. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Have you done that? So you've had chips with it as well? Oh, and what kind of animals have you put in pies? Nothing exciting, just a pigeon.
Pussy pie's nice.
Wowzers. You actually went there, didn't you? He's doing that with his arm as well, like he's a fucking winner. Something tells me by how mortified your girlfriend is that you're not going to get any of that for a while. So pie, and there was another one at the back. Shout again.
Put it in a cage and keep it as a pet.
Keep a half-dead animal as a pet. Have you done that?
It was fine, it came back to life all right.
Oh, what animal was it?
It was a vole.
It was a vole. The lady at the front is a big fan of fucking voles. Finally, somebody mentions voles. How long have I fucking been here? Nearly half an hour. Nobody's done any vole jokes yet. And how long did it live?
It lived for about a month and then it escaped.
You know why it escaped? Because it's a fucking wild animal. It didn't escape, it went home. Anybody else downstairs? Give it to the dog to chew on. So I've got to get a dog now. What do I do with the stuff the dog brings in? Give it to your horse. Fucking hell. This is going to get out of hand. Are you an eager beaver or a late bloomer? If you're a late bloomer like me, then my new show is just for you. Late Bloomer is available now to stream and download from my website, sarahmillican.co.uk.